So
take it back further. There's
okay.
no marriages
Fine.
in the black community.
Let's say take it. Let's say we take it all the way back to the 1700s. Let's just say, just for the sake of it, right? And that I'm totally wrong about all this, just for the sake of argument. Let's just say, what is your prescription to deal with any of those issues when you're telling men in the black community to not get married? How is that going to assist with abortion? How's that going to assist with strong fathers in the home? How's that going to assist with the only demographic population which can't reproduce itself? How? Can you give me a single prescription to any of that?
Let me tell you something. I agree with you on this.
I just want a prescription, dude.
Here's a problem. I agree with you. And listen, if you had any ability to provide this prescription better than Louis Farrakhan or Martin Luther King,
does that mean no?
Give me a second. Listen to me. These men have tried to pretty much heal this issue, and they haven't.
No, they didn't.
Andrew Wilson certainly not to. Neither will CGA. So I don't have a prescription for the black community because the black community is pretty much doomed at this particular point. They have too much degeneracy. They have single mother rates at the 70 and 80%. But I'm going to tell you something. You want to come in here and tell me something about Ecclesiastics, and you're telling me about the reality of the black community, how to fix it. Nobody's been able to fix that community. So there's nothing you can do, and I can't offer any solution for that. Now, at that particular point, you're saying the risk is higher. It certainly will be higher under those matriarchal conditions. So you get no argument from me there. So at that point, where's your statistics lie then?
Well,
where's your solution then?
I'll tell you again. So I'm glad
he's going to solve the community problems here. I'd love to hear this.
Listen again. I'm not saying
the black community problem solved by Andrew Wilson.
That says the guy who literally just got done saying, I have zero prescriptions.
Because nobody does. That community is here. But I would love to hear the black community solved by Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, so let me tell you a bunch of things that can be done which will help mitigate these
Please
issues.
Please do.
The first is
that you can accomplish, not some pipe dream.
That can be accomplished.
Okay, here we go.
That can be accomplished politically and already are beginning to be accomplished politically. The first is you have to outlaw abortion. You have to. It has to be outlawed. And not by state where you can just go to the next state and do another abortion, right? One of the biggest problems with promiscuity in the black community is that they use abortion as a form of birth control. Same problem that you see in the white community, by the way. It's just more prevalent in the black community. The next problem that you have there is the lack of religiosity, where there used to be a really strong core religious base of based black men. And they were patriarchal, very patriarchal. And the thing is that it's the idea of these feminist bra-burning lunatics that told black women not to be under the evil patriarchy of their men. And yet, at this point, the men are rolling over and allowing the matriarchy to take over in their own community. Is a return to traditional church ethics going to assist that? Of course it will. Of course it will. How do I know? Because it did then, just a few short years ago. I'm not talking about hundreds of years ago. I'm talking about 60 years ago. By the way, there's other things that you can do too. Getting rid of EBT, getting rid of social programs which are designed to keep people dependent. These are all things which can be politically accomplished. Just like abortion, the starting of banning that was politically accomplished in our lifetime. And the thing is like, you have no prescriptions. Fuck, at least I'm trying here, man.
Man, Andrew, you are Captain Obvious. This is the obvious
then why didn't
prescription.
Why didn't you obviously state it as a prescription?
Because people have exhausted the means to be able to do this. Trust me, there have been people way better than you that dress better than you and shave their beard better than you that can do this, and they haven't been able to accomplish it. You have the Democratic Party that is highly influential. 92% of black women voted for Democrats. That's also possibly where most of those women go to church. Most of black churches are overwhelmingly women. It's a woman's club, and you're telling me about something completely obvious that everybody has pointed out for 25 years. You're not giving me anything new. This is a completely obvious scenario, and you believe that you've enlightened me over here, and you're waiting for me to give you a solution. Let me tell you something.
It's not about changing your mind.
You certainly would never do that. Now, at this particular point here, the unsettling experience that men experience in divorce, all right, you're saying you're just going to mitigate it or eradicate it. What about the small percentage of men that experience it and go through issues like high levels of self-deletion, high levels of them not being able to recover financially ever? They're still going to experience this under your scenario. This doesn't disappear.
It'll never
What prescription do you have for those men that went to your marriage and they got divorced 33%? What do you do with these men?
33%.
Okay, 20%, 30%. It still was at a high rate.
I think it would
what
even
prescription
be lower than that.
You would hope so. You would hope so. But hope is not a strategy. What hold on for a second. What scenario do you have for men that you led into the burning building when they experience separation from their children, parental alienation, high levels of self-deletion?
Yeah.
What prescription do you have, sir, that you sold? You have all the answers. Please enlighten us what you're going to do with these men. Are you going to enforce them to have sex with other virgins that you have on the sideline?
I'll answer the question, but I want to make a deal with you that if I answer this last question of yours, that you'll actually answer when I ask you after that.
Listen, we're not in a court of law. I don't have to answer anything. I can state something.
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking if we can make a deal. That if I answer this question, you'll answer my next
question that you asked me. I'll consider.
So we're not going to make a deal on that?
I don't have to make a deal. Listen,
you don't have to. I'm asking if you will.
Possibly. So go ahead.
Okay, well then I possibly will hold the debate hostage until you possibly make a deal with me.
All right, great. So that gives me the floor.
So we'll just sit here and stare at each other, or we just filibuster each other.
Like at this particular point.
So
you don't want to.
So I can
answer it. You want to answer it.
But you're not going to answer. But you're not going to answer mine. I just want that clear. You're not going to answer mine after. You're just going to filibuster and stonewall again.
I ask you the question, put it on the table.
So this is pretty simple, right? What you're proposing here. Every policy prescription which is made anywhere in any nation, with any people group, from the tribal all the way to the national level, is going to be a trade-off, no matter what. There's always going to be some people who are disaffected by it in some small percentage, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. We don't run societies based on outliers. The second thing is, when it comes to suicide in men particularly, one of the best ways to mitigate that is to begin the process of eliminating deployment of troops abroad. Because one of the biggest contributing factors to male suicide, including in marriage with divorce, is their veteran status. And it's because they really depend on their family to assist them with what's going on mentally from the fact they've been deployed in these wars. And one thing you could really do that would help that's what the American First policy is we want to bring the troops home, no more foreign wars. That will greatly help and aid with this problem. And by the way, policy-wise, it's already been aiding with this as Trump has wound these wars down. And by the way, I'll point out
that's a good one. I like it.
I'll point out a few more things that you can do.
Please do. Yes.
So another thing that you can do is at the national level, right? From propaganda works. I'm sure you agree. Propaganda absolutely works.
Absolutely.
If at a national level you had propaganda, which instead of showing LGBTQ flags, degeneracy, girl bossing, shit like this, which is what you see everywhere, you had institutional family units instead. Right? And that was what you saw everywhere that you went. And that was where the social status was. At the top-down level, that would really help change people's psyches around. The same way they were indoctrinated towards the degeneracy, same way you can indoctrinate them out of degeneracy. That's how we got a whole nation to smoke. And it's also how we got a whole nation to quit smoking. So the thing is, like, there really are good prescriptions here. And the only thing I get from you...
Wait a minute.
Hang on.
We're talking about self-deletion of men.
Almost done.
Okay.
Yes. That'll help with self-deletion of men. Yes. And it's one of the biggest contributing factors. Single motherhood, another huge contributing factor. These are all things which we need to mitigate. And by the way, these are all great prescriptions. You said I don't have none.
No, for a second. That's what you said. Now, here's the deal. These are great prescriptions. I happen to live in the time that you're talking about when the FCC didn't allow degeneracy, and I was able to live through the time where they started to allow it. So I, unfortunately, was able to see a time where America was great, and now we had dysfunction. So I agree with some of those things. That took place probably 40 or 50 years. It would take a very, very unique scenario for that to occur when you have Cardi B and this type of music out here. And she's a single mother divorcee with a man that is having babies with multiple men.
That's a good argument.
Okay, so that's
an actual argument.
Hold on for a second. No, that's something that you agree with. That's okay.
No, that's okay. An actual argument.
No, it's an agree. You just agree. You can be humble enough to say you agree.
That's an actual argument.
No, listen. You don't have to be. You don't have to belittle or attempt to belittle. Well, I'm here a grown ass man.
The argument
just say
is
you agree.
Propaganda
hey,
takes
listen,
time.
listen. Just say you agree. You wanted me to
answer.
It's
not a matter of agreement. It's a matter of recognizing that was an argument.
It's okay, sir.
It's
the
only argument
you're not
you've
used
made
to
the whole
somebody
debate.
across from you. No, just say you agree. You can humble yourself in the side.
I don't agree.
Now,
it's just an argument.
Listen, you agree. Be a big boy. Be a big boy.
I don't agree, but it's an argument.
Here's a second.
Okay.
You're telling me it's going to take 50 to 100 years. No. I ask you about a man that's considering taking his life today. You're telling me about propaganda machine. Okay, there are men here that are been abandoned from their kids. They've been alienated. I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about in the church. I'm talking about today.
Okay. I'll answer
You're telling
today.
me about some scenario where you're going to change liberalism and bring in righteous conservatism. That's not going to work today. We need solutions for men today, not 50 years from the Turning Point meeting. Okay. At this point, today we have men that are in dire need of help.
I agree.
They're going through unsettling situations and divorces. This is who I speak to, and you keep telling me obvious answers about propaganda and changing this and going to church. This sounds great on paper, but that doesn't happen today. You don't start that today. Can you give me a one solution you got that starts today, Mr. I got all the solutions? We can start today.
Yeah. If you assist with funding MRA groups today who are trying to legislate and get legislation passed today to create preventative measures for those men today. Now, if you ask me, can you do anything about a man who might be willing to blow his head off right this second because he's already going through the events of divorce, which I had nothing to do with, wasn't there for, could never do anything about.
Nobody can do anything
Can you
about
prevent?
it.
Of course nobody can, but that's built
Even
into...
your righteous ecclesiastic reverend from the pulpit.
Yes, but it's built into the question. What you're building into the question is probably the worst framing ever. Andrew, if somebody right this second is willing to do something bad, can you stop them?
Here it comes. Here it comes. Look at the
I don't
scenario.
understand.
But your scenario is to change MRA funding when women outvote men 60 to 40%, and you have women lobbyist groups and 0 men lobby groups. That's what you're telling
That's
me?
really
We're
funny.
going to change to fund MRA groups.
Congress makes the law, not the voters, sir.
Hold on. When
Congress makes the law.
MRAs are on some terror lists. Yes.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you're telling me that they're going to start just switching funding? We're just going to switch funding over here
Yeah.
to a terrorist organization,
The thing is,
according to some of these websites.
Yeah, I would say
this is just a pie in the sky. All your solutions are completely
not
pie
only
in the
is it
sky.
not pie in the sky, but I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
The least possible situation that can
Well,
occur.
I'll give you an example of where it's already happened. So I would argue that the traditional churches are MRAs, that they are men's rights advocacy groups, and that's where traditional masculinity is mostly found today, where men are even allowed to be masculine. Hang on. Let me finish my point. And it is the case that those MRAs, in this case the traditional churches, already got abortion rolled back, didn't they? They're already moving these things back. They're already at the forefront of fighting degeneracy. They are also the ones who are at the charitable forefront of helping those same veterans who are blowing their heads off when the government doesn't even pay any attention to them. When by the time the government was all done doing any of these reforms when it came to veterans associations, it was those pesky old traditional churches from Sky Daddy that you hate so much. They were the ones on the forefront who were actually assisting those people and not doing that. While you asked me this question, Andrew, what can you do right this second for a guy who's going to blow his head off? Well, probably nothing. But neither can you.
Of course
but
not.
at least we could do something about that not happening to others.
Okay, so that's very easy to accomplish in red states. And red states overwhelmingly were the states that got those things passed.
Yeah.
They were already going to get it passed without the interaction of these so-called righteous individuals.
That was
saying.
done
Hold
at
on
the
for a
federal
second.
level,
Now
not
let's
the
just,
state level.
Through Donald Trump.
The
and
federal
now
level.
watch
It
this.
doesn't have
But
to do with red
California, Nevada, these are all states that you can easily drive to and get it done because they're red.
Which is why we
or
need
they're
a
blue
federal
states.
ban, yeah.
And at that particular point, are we going to get a federal ban?
Yeah,
Do you believe
we very
have?
possibly could, yeah.
Possible.
It looks good. It looks good,
but
yeah.
we don't have it today. All right, so we don't.
You
we're
can't-
not. Again, we don't have it.
So what do you want to do?
More than likely,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. You said it's possible, and I say more than possible. You're not going to get it. All right. So at that point,
That's what
now
they
you
said
have
about
an
Roe
issue.
v. Wade, and they were wrong.
They're wrong today. They're wrong. Possibly, we possibly might get it, but California they're not doing it. I can drive to California
If there's
right
a
now.
federal ban,
when
they
there's
can't
a woman
stop
that can
it.
drive it, I could take a woman to Nevada.
Yeah,
You can
but it's
take her to
already
many
decreasing
places
the
right now.
rates. It's already working. Like, what are you talking about? It's already effective.
All it does is just send women to another place.
And it reduces the amount of abortions.
It reduces it so
significantly.
Now we're not. That's all we're talking about. Reducing it. We're
Yeah.
talking about now the unsettling experiences.
So do nothing?
We're doing something.
Yeah.
We're doing something. I'm informing people. I'm giving people the information.
To do what?
And you're telling me
What
a
do you
pie in
want
the
to
sky
do?
solution that might take
Tell me
forever.
what men should do.
I'm telling you what they're
What?
doing. All right. At this particular point, this
Yeah.
is the question that you've been wanting to ask me. All right. I put out a book called 52 Things That Men Should Do Prior to Considering Marriage.
Okay.
What it does is take it through a step-by-step approach of what they need to look out for just to detect.
What does that
Hold on for a
do
second.
right
Hold on for a
now?
second. Just to detect this man's considering. I've had plenty of men that said they were considering marriage. They found the red flags because of my book, and they stopped getting married to a woman that eventually they saw would have been bad for them. That would have cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm doing something very positive. Now watch this.
This is
you
great.
mitigate the red flags. You allow men to understand what the process of marriage is.
Mitigating the risk.
Then you're going into possibly telling them what the state is involved in, how your children are affected, parental alienation, the odds of self-deletion, and so forth and so on. So that's an obvious
I want to make sure I got this right.
opportunity for men to learn.
So I want to get this right.
You're telling me a pie in the sky possibility of changing laws
so what you're
when
doing,
women outvote men 60 to 40%.
Yeah, so you wrote, it doesn't, dude, you don't even understand the political process and how it works. Voting itself, when you're talking about
lobby groups.
Yeah, you're talking about lobby groups and
what
NGOs.
Men lobby groups? What male lobby groups do they have?
The traditional churches.
Okay, we're back to church again.
They're the ones who do all the lobbying on behalf of men.
They're doing it on behalf of the men that follow them. That's not on
It's
behalf
for
of
all men. This abortion ban helps all men.
It's
not some. Their charities to men who are going to kill themselves helps all men, not some.
It doesn't help all men in that situation.
Yes,
it helps the men.
It helps.
Because listen,
yes, it does.
I'm going to tell you where it doesn't. There might be a woman considering getting an abortion, and he wants to keep the kid. He has no mitigating risk.
They're the only ones trying to change that.
Exactly. Who is?
The traditional churches.
You're saying the traditional churches.
Yes.
All right. At that point, that doesn't help him.
Yes, it does help him.
So you're saying at that point, it's only the traditional church when you have hundreds of female lobbyist groups and you have them out.
They're the ones combating those female lobbying groups.
And
yes.
that's it. How are they doing? Only the red
They're
states.
doing great.
Only the red states.
No, at the federal level, they're doing great. You're wrong.
You can still go to other states to get it done.
Yes, but we've still managed to mitigate it even in those states. It's a war. It's a political war. That's how it works. And not only that, let's point this out. Your whole solution here, I wrote a book to help mitigate future events. Oh, great. Andrew, what are you trying to do? Help mitigate future events. Exactly. Oh, right now, right this second, what can I do to help? Andrew says right this second, if guy has a 357 in his mouth, he's going to pull the trigger, he can't do anything. You're totally right, but neither can you by your own admission.
Correct.
So there we go there. When we're looking at the future, though, and I say, let's do all of these different prescriptions, which we can actually politically accomplish and move towards, you say, that's all fucking pie in the sky, blah, 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 blah. I ask, well, what can you do as far as future prescriptions?
And
you say, blacks are fucked, and I have absolutely no prescriptions for it.
No,
sorry,
actually,
guys.
I wrote a book, 52 things that men could consider
to mitigate divorce risk. The same thing I'm trying to do.
If they're marrying the right woman. So you're just mad that I have one solution, you have another, and we don't agree with it. Mine's better. That's what you believe. I think yours is pie in the sky. So that's just.
I don't see how it can be pie in the sky. When it's affecting way more men than your book is.
No, my book actually has 15,000+. You have how many? Hold on. You have how many? You have how many ecclesiastic marriages that your church pastor is going to go into the bedroom and enforce marriages? You can't even give me a number.
Ever proposed that. You're such a liar.
You can't even give me a number. You said that.
Nobody said that the pastors are going to go in the bedroom and enforce anything.
Okay, social pressure.
Stop lying.
All your social pressure.
Stop lying,
listen. Where's your social pressure? How many people do you have in your ecclesiastic marriages? How many people got married under that?
Millions.
Please give me a number.
Millions of people have an ecclesiastical authority.
Go ahead and type it up.
People have an ecclesiastical marriage. They may have a state cert also.
Under your scenario.
What do you want me to type?
We don't.
How many?
We don't know.
Exactly,
we don't know exactly.
But you're sneezing at my number, but you don't know at all.
We know for
sure.
Hey,
listen, there's a lot
that
you don't
even
know.
if it was the case that you never adopted the state.
But you don't have any number.
Even if it's the case. Hang on.
What's the number?
Hang on. Even if it's the case that all they ever did was get a state marriage certificate and never even followed that portion of what I'm saying, right? The number is still lower by the state's own numbers. It's still lower in traditional churches.
Can you give me a number of your marriages that you're proposing that we're all going to follow?
We don't know. We don't have polls on it yet.
You don't have a number.
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
I would venture to say it's very little, under 100.
Sure.
All right. So now we got.
No, it's not under 100.
Okay, certainly under 100.
No, it's not.
All right. I don't hear anybody talking about it other than you.
Yeah, well, that's because you're not around traditional churches by your own admission. But yeah, there's people who have crowning ceremonies and get married by churches who don't get a state cert.
Traditional churches.
In fact, there might be data on that. You should look.
Please look it up.
There might be
under your scenario.
Yeah, under my scenario. But the thing is that even if we were to grant,
even if we were to
grant it,
yes,
still from the state's own admission, the divorce rate's still significantly lower for a reason.
20 to 30%. Okay, so
That's
it's
huge.
still lower. It is nice.
Significantly
It would be
lower.
nice. You still have men under unsettling divorce conditions. You still have men under state-funded divorce. You still have men under child support. You still have men under parental alienation. You still have sexless marriages.
2 out of
you
10.
haven't accomplished most of these
2
things.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10 what?
That would be 2 out of 10. It's 20%, right? It's 2 out of 10 of those marriages, as opposed to your system.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, in your
5
system,
out of 10.
In your system, it's much higher.
It's the system that exists.
No, it's not.
But you're
Listen,
telling me 150 marriages. This is
No.
all of these scenarios. I have to be honest with you. This wasn't much of a debate.
Yeah, I know. You lost every
no.
point.
Listen, much of your scenarios were make believe. To be honest
they're all
with you, they were pretty make believe. You would have to have an extremely considerable movement to be able to accomplish them.
Like millions of people?
You would have to have millions of people to do
Can you
exactly
pull up how
what
many
you're-
Catholic and Orthodox are in the United States?
Listen.
It's my turn to ask. I can ask him to
Please
pull
do,
the stats.
please do. But that's not the number I'm looking
how many?
for. That's
Yeah,
not the
it
number
is the
I'm
number we're looking for.
We're looking for ecclesiastic marriages under your scenario.
No, listen. Even if
That's
it
the
were
only
the
way
case,
it works for
even
you.
if it were the case, do you agree with me that if you take the state out of marriage, that is going to assist in the reduction of
We
divorce?
can't take the state out of marriage.
Why not?
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah,
You
why
can't tell me
can't
how
you?
many people have done it.
Yeah, but why can't you do it?
Because no fault divorce, a woman can go into divorce you, even if, because you're not under her control. The
How if you're not
ecclesiastics are
married
under
to
the
her?
authority.
By the states, you're not married. How can she take you to a divorce court? Can you explain that to me?
I asked you this earlier. Have you been through a divorce?
It doesn't matter.
That's
Answer
a
the
yes.
question.
That's a yes. So you've been through a divorce.
Why does that matter?
All
What is it pertinent to the
because
debate?
this is why. Can I finish? You've been telling me I'm cutting you off. You won't let me finish.
Bro, I want an answer to my
See,
question.
There we go again. Oh,
Can you
my
answer
goodness.
my question?
I mean, I can play the game you're playing.
You just won't answer questions.
Jeez. All right, listen. I mean, I thought you were a tough guy. Listen. Under this scenario, a marriage, even if it's ceremonial, religious, it doesn't matter if she files for the divorce. You will still be going in court to fight that.
How
I don't
would
care.
you file for divorce if you're not married by the state, dude?
Listen.
Can you answer my question?
You're completely missing this. This is
my
what
God.
tells me you haven't been through one. Have you talked to a divorce attorney? A woman can file. You have to respond and provide evidence that you were not married. Now, you and your common law, you living with your kids, it's going to be difficult. I'm trying to give you some information.
That's
and knowledge.
common law marriage.
Okay.
That's different. In some states, there is no common law marriage. So
That's
just
not
answer,
common law marriage.
So just answer
Listen,
one. Okay.
California doesn't even have common law, and that exists. It could be ceremonial. You could get married in Fiji. It doesn't matter. Soon as you get back here, if you practice marriage, the whole institution, at that particular point, if she files, you, sir, will have to respond to that suit.
Yeah.
If you do, I would hope and pray that the judge, not God, grant you your wish. At that point, your argument fails because you then would have to say, my ecclesiastic reverend on the little house on the prairie granted this marriage, but it doesn't count under the state.
I just want to make
she
sure.
can do this, and you have to respond.
Can you
to
help
this.
me with this? Because I
I'm
am
helping you a
actually
lot.
confused. So let's say a woman and a man went out to a field and declared themselves
We got
married.
a scenario. Let's say if.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
say if a
that's the
man
one.
went out to a field with a woman and declared that they're married.
Correct.
You're saying she can still go to a divorce court and divorce him?
She can file for the divorce.
How?
You have to respond. You
Yeah,
have
with what?
To respond.
Yeah, what does that mean, though? That doesn't mean
Again,
anything.
I'm informing
What are
you.
you
What does
talking
that
about?
mean? This is how a lawsuit works.
Okay,
She's
a
a petitioner.
lawsuit.
She
Okay.
files. She says, we walked on coals. We went outside.
Yeah.
This was a union. I consider it a marriage. Everybody knows and addresses us as a marriage.
Yeah.
This is in non-common law states. We receive mail at this place. We've been living under the same roof for this many years. You will have to respond to these allegations. Now, you're going to have to say on your petition, this is not true. We have an ecclesiastic marriage and a prenup under God, and we live together, but we weren't married. That's a response to the lawsuit, and then you proceed to trial and a hearing.
Is this a lawsuit or a divorce?
Divorce is a lawsuit.
Okay, so I'm curious.
Divorce is a lawsuit.
Can you look this up?
Is
Can
divorce
you
a
file for divorce without ever getting married?
Oh my goodness, you are slow. You can file a lawsuit for anything.
So then it's
So
not a
anybody
divorce?
can sue you for anything.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
but-
So if you go into there and she
So they're just
says
suing
that,
you?
Yes, it's
Okay,
a
but
lawsuit.
that's not a divorce. Come on,
says-
dude.
It's a lawsuit.
Can we pull this up? Can you file for a divorce without getting married? Divorce is a legal process that ends in legally recognized marriage.
If you never obtained a marriage license and your marriage was never registered, summarized according to state law, the courts have no marriage to dissolve. You're full of shit.
Hold on for a second.
Just saying
Hold
that
on.
they can. Yeah, you're full of shit.
Listen,
they can just sue you for whatever.
You said they have no marriage to dissolve.
Yeah, you're saying that they're just going to sue you.
No. You still have
Come
to.
on.
You still have to respond to the lawsuit.
Yeah, but you don't have to go to the divorce court, dude.
You do.
No,
That's
you
where
don't.
You file the response.
No,
you still have
that's
to
not
go.
a divorce court.
That is the divorce
No,
court.
it's not. It's a
That
court
is
of.
the divorce court.
It's the
Listen.
circuit court or some shit, not the divorce court.
Listen, this is.
You got
this
caught in 4K. You're
that's
full of shit.
That's ChatGPT.
You're full
In this
of it,
situation
dude.
here, we can bring a lawyer in to
Bring
resolve
him.
this and say, can she file for a divorce? You're saying what the
No.
outcome is. Hold on for a second. You're saying the outcome, they can't legally enforce it. That's what you hope the outcome is. You hope the outcome is. You still have to
Dude,
respond.
all you're saying is that a woman can sue you for anything.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's not the same as filing for divorce
Hold on
through
for a
the
second.
divorce courts,
that's
dude.
where they would file it.
No,
would
they
file
can't.
it.
No, they're not filing it in the divorce court.
My gosh. All right. That's where they would file it. In the divorce court.
They
That's
would
where
file a
it there.
lawsuit.
No, they would file it in the family court. Trust me. Now, here's the
family
thing.
court's
Hold on
different,
for a
though.
That's the divorce court.
Wait a second.
Family court is a divorce court.
Wouldn't you have to do that under specific criteria for family court, like a kid's involved or something? You can just
Correct. So, in the
Come
scenario,
on,
hold on for a
dude,
second.
That's not the same
Hold
as
on, hold on,
divorce
hold on for a second.
proceedings. This is
I
ridiculous.
mean,
That's ridiculous.
Listen. The family court is what people call the divorce court. There's no building that
Yeah,
says
I agree
divorce
with
court.
that.
You understand that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you have a woman with children
Yeah.
that you say you're not married to. If she files,
Yeah.
you still have to go under family court jurisdiction.
Yeah.
You still have to respond
Because there's children, yes.
because there's children.
Yeah.
At that point, my point is made. She
Yeah.
has filed. They may say the divorce doesn't count.
Yeah.
But now, how do we deal with these children?
Yeah, but that was
those
never-
children. That is a part of marriage. Did you not have children with the woman?
Come on, dude. So if you're not,
That
if
is
you-
a part of
so as long as
marriage.
you don't have children, then they can't do that.
Correct. That's what you're saying. But you're saying
No,
you're
I'm
going to have
asking.
children.
I'm actually asking.
You're saying they're going to have children, correct?
Yes.
You're going to go to family court
Yes, you could go to family court.
if
yes.
she files for the divorce.
Not for divorce. They could go for
If
like
she files
motions
for
for
child
support or all
support,
sorts of
any
things.
of these-
That's
that
not
is the family
divorce.
court.
Yeah.
When we talk about what men deal with when they deal with marriage and the result is a divorce, one of the things they deal with is child support, also domestic violence, which falls under the family court. So you cannot be married. Oh
you
my
have
God.
you have a problem here with this.
Listen,
so
that
I
can
agree.
fall under
I
the
agree
family
that
court.
if you have children, that could go through the family court system. Nobody ever disputed that,
Okay.
though.
So you're still dealing with issues,
but
right?
hang on, that's the different one. That's different than filing for divorce. You can't file for divorce if you're never married. That's
Now
one.
you're going to
And
child
two,
support. Yes.
and hang on, two. The second problem here is the reason that men usually lose their custody when it comes to divorce and divorce court is because women plot. They plot escape hatches. So what they do is they go, okay,
Of course they do.
look, I'm going to take 2 years, make sure that you're fucking destitute on the way out, and then I'm filing in divorce court.
Correct.
You're going to get hit over the head from what happens in divorce court.
Absolutely.
Whole different ball game, though. If it's the case that you have children with a woman, and she goes and she files, you're actually in a much better position to get custody
Correct.
at that point than if it was the case that you were married through the state, dude. Much better positioned.
We don't know that.
No,
That's-
100%
for a second.
that's
you
the
don't,
case.
You don't know that. You're guessing. Can you
No,
give me some
yeah,
data on
there
that
is
one?
actually
No,
data.
there's data on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one. Okay, go ahead and look it up. But we don't know that.
Yes,
That's just a
if
guess.
it's the case, hang on. If it's the case,
If you're not
'cause
legally
that
married.
men who fight for custody,
Correct.
right?
Yes, that's correct.
But they're in a better position to fight for custody if they're not going through the divorce court. If they're only getting motions for child support or
Well, we
child
know.
custody.
Actually, I'll tell you something. If you are not married to them, you actually fare a little bit worse. If you're not legally married, that's true. If you're not legally married to, let's just take a baby mom, baby dad situation. If he's not legally married to them, they typically fare a little bit worse.
Yes.
in custody cases.
I just said that.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're still faring worse. If
No,
they're
they're
married,
faring better, right?
if they're not married,
yes, they'd be
their
faring
baby mom.
better.
No, they would actually fare worse.
How?
Well, ask any guy that's been in court. We can look at this
Yeah.
when they're not legally married to
Yeah.
the woman, they go through a custody battle.
Yeah.
When they're legally married, they do better getting better custody.
Yes, men get better custody.
When
So
they're
that would be a
legally
better
married.
outcome.
If they're not legally married,
Yes.
typically they fare worse getting custody.
Why?
because they're not married to the woman. This is typically, this depends on jurisdiction.
It's because of the unplanned nature of it.
Correct.
But
Exactly.
Planned,
but if it's planned, we don't know.
No, we do know.
The judge
actually.
doesn't know.
Hang on.
How do they know?
We do.
So now you're saying
Nope.
you're going in there
Hang
to
on,
use that we're not legally married, but we're married.
Here's how we can logically, I think I can actually logically demonstrate this, and I think you'll agree. Okay? So the reason that men tend to fare bad in custody disputes and in divorces is because it's unexpected. So usually they're getting hit with it and it's unexpected. Even if it should be expected, because it's unexpected, they have time to plot, they have time to plan, this kind of thing.
Domestic violence.
And so they
issues.
they can hit them with it. Right? That's
That's normally what happens.
Yeah, that's normally.
You can't mitigate that. Or are you suggesting you
can?
can?
You can mitigate. You can mitigate it. Here's how you can mitigate it. If you're in a church, you have
52 things. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you have the if you have the ecclesiology, the ecclesiastic community, the community actually supports you when you're going through these problems of
They're
divorce.
not going to be in court with you.
No, they actually help you with funding. They help you with everything.
They're not
yes.
going to be in court with you. They're not going to be.
They
in
don't
court
need
with
to
you.
go
They
to
don't
court
have
with you.
So
Money is what talks, man, and bullshit walks.
Exactly. I agree with that. That I can agree with.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to fund
Well,
that.
they do all the time.
Listen,
they
all right,
assist
the
them with custody
125
agreements all the
these
time.
small marriages, I
Yeah.
would love to see these out. They should do a documentary on them.
They do.
All right, so we can see.
We
them.
do have stats
But
on this.
most people aren't under these, so we can say that's clearly the case.
But
in those
so what?
situations here,
So
under those
what, though?
situations, you have men that are not under this veil of, I don't know what it is, okay, that do fare worse when they're not married. Okay, that's typically what's going to happen.
Because the childbirth itself is unplanned. But if they're with a woman long term
Yes.
as a partner, they actually do better.
Absolutely, and I was
even
one of
if
those.
they're not
And I was
married.
one of those.
Even if they're not married.
Typically,
yes.
That's. But sometimes
So it's still
not
better
the situation.
outcomes. You're just talking about the unplanned nature.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I mean,
they're
mostly,
they're
though.
having because there's a lot of factors here. I mean, we can make things black and white. The guy doesn't have the ability to maintain the custody. He lives in another city.
Because
there's
it's
so many
unplanned.
other factors.
Because
There's
it's
so
unplanned. I
many
knocked
other
her
factors.
up. That's
No.
different than I was with her
they
for
were
a couple
in a
of years.
relationship. They were in a relationship. All right.
Yeah, but knocking her up usually happens early.
It could. It typically does.
It
because
typically
that's where men.
does.
And
Yep.
at that point, now they were raising the kid for 2 or 3 years. They were together.
But this goes
and
to
then
my
it happens. But it also goes to my point. In this situation here, right here, we have a lot of things that we like to make black or white and easily solve.
No, that's all nuanced. I agree.
Okay, very much nuanced.
Yeah.
At that point, then you're just telling us, oh, I'll just throw this aspect of religion on top of it and it'll fix it. Or it'll mitigate. It'll mitigate it. It'll
Yes,
mitigate it.
mitigate.
It doesn't eliminate it. It
Yeah,
just
but
makes it less.
you
Can't eliminate it.
But
It just
even
makes it less
okay,
likely, but they're still going to
but
go
even
through
if
it.
it-
Once they go through it, what do you do?
But when you said a marriage was a great institution, right?
It
Did that
was.
eliminate all divorce?
It was very low.
Well,
about
right,
7 to
right. So
10%.
it's just you're only
Like,
talking
it
about
was actually
mitigation.
lower.
You're
It was
only
lower.
talking about
It was
mitigation.
actually lower than the percentages that you're showing me.
I agree.
Way lower.
I agree.
Way lower.
But you're still talking about mitigation.
But we're also talking about white people were least likely to get married under these scenarios too.
Yeah, but
So-
we're still talking about mitigation.
Exactly.
And
And
so,
so at
if
that
you
point-
say it's great and it's mitigating, and I say, okay, I want to move towards mitigation, we can never eliminate it. You can't hold that against me.
I can't, and you can't hold it against
I
me for
can.
telling men to avoid the situation, especially since, and I'll add this on, especially since we can know statistically women are getting married at an older age. That is increasingly high. We can look at 40 years ago, it was 20 years old. We can look at today, it's roughly around 28
Yeah,
and 30.
but there's some nuance there too. And
There's a lot of nuance
well, hang
there.
on. There's
And
here's
hold
a
on for a
big
second,
one.
but I
Okay,
was
go ahead.
completing a
Go
point
ahead,
here.
Go ahead.
Okay. At that point, you're seeing a lot of women choosing to not marry. You're also seeing a lot of men choosing to not marry those women that are older.
Yeah.
So how do you get those people to have an ecclesiastic marriage?
I'll help you.
When you're telling them, these people are saying, I'm not marrying that woman.
Yep.
She's a stepmom, or so no, she's a single mom.
Yep, I
she's
understand.
older.
Yep.
She's past her prime. How are you getting that marriage rate up?
This is the
with
best.
the ecclesiastic
So I
marriage?
think that's a great question. It's one
Other
that
than saying that they got to be virgins.
and it's
Because
one
that's not
that
gonna
I
work.
need, and it's one that I do need to answer to. So here's the answer to this. The reason that women are getting married older is because they're deferring their childbearing years for college. That's why.
That's obvious. Okay.
I mean, literally, that's
Sure.
the only reason. And one of
we
the
know
prime
this.
reasons that the birth rate is collapsing is because they're having children older because they defer those childbearing years.
Like I
for
said,
later
that's
in
not
life.
fruitful and multiply. That's just adding.
So we can look at this and we can. Well, it is still multiplying.
Okay, all
but
right,
anyway,
right, yeah.
The point is when we're talking about, we go back to this whole propaganda thing, right?
You're not going to get a disagreement on this.
Hang on. The
Okay.
idea is, should we have propaganda that says women, you go to school, we'll give you student loans, right? We'll back the entire thing for free, and we promise you a lucrative STEM career, right? When the opposition is actually true. Or do we run campaigns that say no STEM funding, you got to pay for your own fucking college, okay? Or you can choose the more traditional path.
How likely is this to happen?
It's actually pretty likely. If you look at the idea of STEM funding for college, right? The idea of student loans and things like this, women are already trying to check out in the worst way because they can't have kids later in life.
But they're not getting married, though.
They do. They just do college first. And this is, by the way, where the body count comes from. The big body counts are coming because they spend all this time in college getting fucked.
Very obviously. This is obvious. Yes.
And then afterwards, right, they get their little lucrative career, and then they want to settle down.
They find a
But it seems to me very obvious that if you wanted to do something about this, you would want to create the incentive for women to not go to college and instead use their childbearing years to get married, because that's what we always did.
I've actually created this scenario before, and it's very opposed to where society's going. Society really not showing that they're showing trends of this. You might have those little spatters here and there, but if you have a woman that says, okay, I can't afford to go to college, she becomes a Walmart clerk. Hold on for a second. She becomes a Walmart clerk, an assistant manager. I'm looking at those particular demographics. They're not jumping into marriages. All right, maybe in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, they're still out here ho-hopping. All right, they're still finding a variety of ways.
But here's why. So women are getting more college degrees than men because men have a viable option for making income, which is easy.
Correct.
I mean, it's actually harder, but it's easy and for them.
We could survive.
And the idea is if you're a tradesman, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay, especially in modernity because there's an incompetency crisis in the United States.
Absolutely.
So if you're good at what you do, you're going to make a lot of money.
And
that's just it.
Women are less likely
to go. And even if you're bad
routes.
at it, you'll make a lot of money. But the college thing created a situation we were not aware was going to happen. Even though I could easily have predicted it, which is oversaturation. Women only go for a couple things, and they're sociological related mostly. They're not really for STEM fields, and that's who's hiring the big STEM fields. Everything else oversaturated. That's why women end up in government NGOs and government think tanks and psychologists, because the overage has to go somewhere. But that's saturated too. So you're seeing actually a trend begin to emerge of that trending down because of oversaturation. So if that's the case, these women don't want to go work at Walmart as the assistant manager, right? And if you had said propaganda plan, and the propaganda plan is simple enough, the idea here is just don't defer your childbearing years for college. Instead, we'll help you with incentives so that you have children younger and you get married younger. You will almost eliminate this entire problem. And yes, not only is it viable, not only is it viable, but we should be moving towards that. This idea that we shouldn't get married rather than just create the conditions for which marriage is great is exactly what we should be doing.
And under those conditions, it would make sense. Because you're getting women that can multiply, that can
but it's only the churches that could get this done.
No, not really. But in this situation here, I agree. I agree with that scenario. I proposed that many years ago. However, you're going to be hard pressed for women to actually pick that. Although they're not going to college, they're trending down in college. They're probably not going to complete one of these liberal arts degrees. What you're probably going to see them do, they're still going to Coachella. They're still selling coochie. They're out here being sugar babies. They're going to OnlyFans.
Same problem with oversaturation.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll get oversaturated. Now you kick the can down the road to what the next thing is. I don't see the women seeing that college is prohibitive to them jumping into traditional marriages. I don't see that trend.
But that was the same argument which made in the 90s to men, that they would not that the trades were going by the wayside and they all needed to get a college degree. When in fact the opposite ended up happening. Now they're all moving towards trades in lieu of the college degree because of oversaturation.
Correct.
There's no reason for us to believe that if it's the case that women have the option and the propaganda behind it for them to get married at a younger age, right? Defer that with incentives. We can give all sorts of incentives for this.
Would you give for this?
Oh man. First of all, you can give tax exemptions, for instance. You could say
these women don't pay taxes even when they make millions.
But the thing that's
they don't catch up to them, but they don't pay the taxes.
Well, they do have to pay property tax on the houses they get from their husbands when they divorce them. So
if they get married, then
the thing is what you could do is in Poland did this, and they had a pretty good degree of success, up almost 0.5%, moving and trending towards almost 1%, which is huge in such a short amount of time. They gave tax exemption, and you can pull this up if you want. They gave tax exemption if you had more than X number of children. I think it was 3 for life. Tax
would be
exempt for
great,
life.
yes.
Now the thing is that's huge. Now, from a woman's perspective, why would a woman go for that? Because she's tax exempt for life too. And the thing is, it's the same reason they're going to college, which is they want the money. The same reason they're selling their pussy online, because I want the money, is also a thing which you can incentivize them to do the other direction.
You could.
Because
It sounds
they
nice.
want the money.
It sounds nice, but
And it's worked. It's worked.
It's worked in Poland.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
in the places it's been tried, the incentives work.
Is that a comparable nation to the United States who highly depends on women being taxed?
Well, so did Poland.
It's not the same size.
Well, I mean,
We were a
but
very
it's
large
all-
country.
but
We're
it's
a
all-
very large
but
country.
it's all scalable, right?
It could be scalable.
It's all
I mean,
scalable. The thing
that's kind
is-
of like when people said Sweden did this and
Yeah,
you're talking about
but-
a million people versus
but what I'm
100
saying
million
is,
people. I understand.
We're going to look at the models where they exist
It's
to see
it's
how
a
they
nice
compare.
model. Yeah, 'cause
and
we
it's a
could-
better model.
Yes, it's a good model. It would be a good start.
It's a start.
It would be a
it's
good start.
something.
Could you think people would probably try to manipulate that? You said they have 3
course.
kids from the same dad or from different
You have to be
daddies?
married.
You would have to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this would be a nice opportunity for us to bring something that Poland has tried to a place where we don't have that same structure. They're somewhat democratic socialists.
No.
We're somewhat
Not at all. They're
capitalist.
very conservative.
They're
very
conservative,
capitalist.
but yeah, they have that, but they're also
No, they're very capitalist.
okay.
Yeah.
So, but typically we're a lot more capitalist than them. Would you
I
say
don't
that?
know. I don't
We're
know
a
if
lot more
that's the
capitalist than
case. Like
Poland.
Eastern
All
Europe
right,
has
we're-
become very, very based. Eastern Europe
Okay.
has become
all right,
very
but we
based.
can probably say 200, 350 million people versus Poland size,
It's much smaller, yes.
12 million.
But that's what
All right, this would
scalability
be,
is for.
I mean, this would be the size, not even half of California at this particular point, but that you're scaling to.
Yeah, scalability works that way because
It
it's
could.
scalable.
It could.
38 million in Poland.
38 million, quite more than I thought. That
Yeah.
would be the state of California and plus Oregon, maybe, or something like that.
Well, and California is bigger than a lot of countries.
It is.
That's the
It's
case.
Fifth largest
Yeah.
GDP.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, I'll give you that one. This is a little bit of a reach, but I'll give it
Not
to
just
you.
that. If we look at the Chinese model, the Chinese model really fucked this up. They decided that they were going to do the one-child policy. Remember that?
And they screwed that up.
Well, not only did they screw it up, but they have almost given themselves imminent doom because their birth rate has dropped down so low. Now, what are they doing? They're giving incentives for women to have children.
Exactly.
Now, we do it here, too, to a
We
limited
do that
degree
here.
with tax credits, right? But the tax credits, you're not going to incentivize a woman who can sell her pussy on OnlyFans to have a
Exactly, for
child
way much.
to have a
Yeah.
child for $3,000 a year.
And sometimes they even go on EBT and WIC, and they still use the system. So you're still finding ways where people will manipulate the system, and we're
that's the
seeing
whole
people
point.
that
We're
are
trying to
master
get rid of
manipulation.
that, right?
We would try to get rid of it. It would be a nice try. I'll give you that one. That might be a ball.
No, it's possible, and
It's-
more than possible, and it's better than the idea of just continual degeneracy.
Well, I'm not promoting degeneracy. However,
Sex outside of marriage?
well, who is that degenerate to? I mean, that's your
Right.
Bible.
So
I mean,
the-
most of your Christians, your traditional. Hold on for a second. Let
Yeah.
me. Most
Okay.
of your traditional Christian women that are getting married to these simps are blindsided, typically by women that were promiscuous. all
Sounds
right?
like
so
sex
that
out of
sounds like
marriage is
normal.
good.
So
sounds
they're-
like sex out of marriage is bad.
it sounds like it's really bad. But
Yeah.
those are your women you're trying to marry, not the virgins that we're going to
You
have.
think
or
that
the
this is
overwhelming-
mitigated by you being a secularist versus a Christian? Give me a break.
I mean, you're not
If
going to
you're-
mitigate women throwing their pussy around the internet or
Yeah,
pining around the
well,
world. You can
but-
hardly mitigate that. I mean,
know-
you haven't done anything at this particular point. They're busting it wide open on OnlyFans.
Yeah, we can put
right,
outlaw
these are the church
OnlyFans.
women.
You can outlaw OnlyFans.
I mean, every one of your scenarios is a big, major swing at. They're not happening. All right, it's not happening.
Do you know that the
they're not
people versus
outlawing
Larry,
anything.
the people versus Larry Flint was not long ago when
Mm-hmm.
the normalization of the porn used to be outlawed. Okay, it
But
used to be
people still
outlawed all over the United States, and guess what? The effects that it had on the psychology of men and the effects it had on marriage were negligible. You could still get it to some degree underground,
Right.
But it was tough and it was illegal. Why do you think?
And people still went to the.
Why do you
they
think
went
it
to
is?
that they? I don't know if you remember
Yeah.
this. If you're old enough, they
Go
still
ahead.
went to that VHS area or the area of the magazine.
That was after Larry
the
Flint.
All right, but that was a result. That was kind of one
that
of the
was
things
after
that they said.
legalized it. Before
Exactly.
they legalized it, those sections didn't exist.
Exactly. So now it's wide and open. It's in the open.
Yeah, so
now,
we need to
where we
eliminate
at?
it. Yes,
We didn't eliminate Playboy and Penthouse.
That's
It
after
still
Larry
exists.
Flint. Larry Flint
It's-
was Penthouse.
I understand that, but it's still here. I mean,
yeah,
you didn't
he
get
won
rid
the
of
case.
It. Correct.
But
so
we're
how are you going to beat
unwinding.
OnlyFans?
We're unwinding and have been unwinding. That's
Again,
what Roe
you're
v.
trying
Wade
to-
was. The
right,
idea
you're
of
trying-
Roe v. Wade was to
By the
unwind.
time you beat OnlyFans, the damage is done. I'm gonna just let you know.
Yeah, you know what?
Right, the damage is pretty much
really
done. That
funny.
would
It's
take
like,
30 or 40 years.
okay,
to
well,
defeat
after
that.
a war, the damage is done. It might take 30 or 40 years, but you know what? The thing is we don't quit because it might take some time.
I didn't ask you to quit. What I'm asking you is, you're trying to solve the problem today of getting traditional.
Both. Both.
Traditional.
Today, tomorrow.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow will be a better day. But at this point, you're looking at traditional conservative women that have thrown their punanis out. Some
Sure.
of them are single moms.
Well, they're not traditional.
All right.
But yeah.
Again, they're not. But this exists. And unfortunately, the traditional conservative movement or
And it's full of feminists,
These women,
I agree.
Yeah, these women come in as feminists,
Yep.
liberals, and they cosplay, trick these men into marriages, say that they're going to marry them, not in the secular, and then they follow you, and then they run right back to the court.
no,
Now,
the
this
opposite.
does happen quite a bit, even
Not
in the
from
Christian
us, no.
church.
Not from us.
Well, I don't know how many you are. We still haven't determined.
But the thing is funny,
This still happens. So a lot of men get caught off guard because they see her thumping the Bible. Oh, she's one of us. And these women have figured out how to cosplay.
And again, I think this is a good question, right? And notice I've answered all of yours. You haven't answered any of mine. But
which
the
one
thing
did
is,
I answer?
Yeah, can I ask a couple?
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So the progressive mantra is that sexual liberation, this is what feminism was based around, with sexual liberation. That was the big one.
Correct.
That their bodies were being controlled, not just from abortion, but from who they chose to have sex with because they were attracted to them, this and that. Marriage was a complete trap for women. It was self-destructive to them, this and that. What is the distinction in your message in that one to men?
What's my message?
Well, it seems to me that your message is that marriage is simply too dangerous, and that if you want to sleep with women outside of it, it's perfectly fine, and it's actually liberating for you because you're moving away from the trappings of marriage itself.
And it would be safer.
Hang on.
Yeah.
That seemed like the same exact message that we got in the 70s from feminists.
If you frame it that way, it would be. But
So you're
it's
a
just
feminist?
Hold on for a second. It would be two different outcomes. You're protecting wealth, access to children. You're actually being able to control who has your children.
That's
who
what they
doesn't.
wanted.
Exactly. Well, no, they want to be able to kill their children and abort them.
They wanted
all right?
to be able
So
to determine
we're
what happened with their
We're trying to
children.
figure out where we have the control legally. They're having the control over their body. These are two different.
But
these are two different
but
outcomes.
So what's the
legal
delineating
outcome
factor
is what the men are trying to figure
from
out.
a 1970s feminist to your messaging right now? What is the difference?
They're trying to control their bodies.
So are you.
I'm trying to control legally, financially. These are two different things. These
Those are
two
your
different
body-
outcomes.
you're controlling your
No,
bodies.
don't just make it a body.
It's the
now.
same thing.
It's financial. These aren't not my
That's
body.
the same
All right,
arguments they
this is-
made. It's
listen, No,
financial.
you're trying to make it the same. I
It
know you're
is
trying
the
to.
same.
No. You're trying to cram that in. Oh, finances is your body. I'm trying to control the legal outcomes.
So were
related
they.
to that. Related to finances. Not related to me being liberated and sleep with who I want to. The first goal was to control what happens to me financially. It was never the goal for men to avoid marriage, to sleep around. That's the feminist goal. Those are two different things.
They make the
You're
same
trying to make
claim.
it-
they make the same claim. Their claim
never
is
was financially.
We're
It was
we're
to
not
sleep
telling
around.
women that they need to go sleep
Those
around.
are two different
We're not
things.
telling women they need to go sleep around. We're just telling them they can if they want to. Isn't that the same as your message?
If they want to, some men don't sleep around.
Yeah.
Some men
Same.
don't sleep around.
It's just
not
feminism
the same
for men,
thing.
dude.
No, that's what you want to call
There's
it.
no
and that's a-
prescriptions. It's just feminism for men.
How's that not a prescription? I get to control who I'm with.
Said
I
the
get to
feminist.
control where the law is.
Said the
And hold on
feminist.
for a second. And I get to control where my finances are, not the state.
Said the feminist.
No,
The
no,
same
no.
things
That's
you were
not.
fighting
No.
for.
That's not. It's not the
We
woman's
don't have a bank
finances.
account. We can't decide what to vote.
That's-
We
that-
can't
that's
decide
a
what to do with our
second- that's a
children. We're
secondary-
men's property.
That's
It's the
a
same
secondary.
shit.
That's a secondary issue.
Oh,
that is
man.
a secondary issue.
the same
You tried to
issue.
compare it. You tried to compare it, and then say finances is body. I mean, come on,
That's
man.
what
I mean,
they were
you're really
fighting.
trying
They were
to.
fighting
You're
for the
really
same
trying
thing.
to cram this.
They were
in
like, we
to
want
fit
credit
your
cards.
narrative.
We want to be able to control
That's
our bank
nice.
accounts.
That's
We want to be
very
able to
much
control
a
our
secondary,
finance.
tertiary issue. We're talking about what you framed
It's
it
the
as.
primary issue.
The primary issue for
For
me
you.
is finances. It's not to sleep around. All right,
Yeah.
that would be two different things.
But
I'm
if
not
it's-
maintaining my independence and staying single,
But if
so
it's
I
the
can sleep
case-
around. That's not the primary
Yeah,
issue.
I understand,
It is
but-
for
but
finances.
if
So
it's-
those are two different
No,
arguments.
they're not.
Do
And
you
I'll
want to make it
explain-
the same for
Look,
you? Go ahead,
Let me give the explanation.
please.
If every single argument you make, even if you say these ones over here are tangential, but I agree with them, is the same exact argument of the 1970s bra-burning feminist, whether or not you're
That's what
hang
you
on.
believe.
whether or not it's the primary goal.
Make it work for you.
Hang on, man.
Make it work for you.
Even if it's the case, it's not the primary goal, it's a secondary goal. They're still the same
You
goals.
framed it as the number one
Let me
goal.
at least make the argument
Please
before you
do.
respond.
Reach on in there, man.
So the thing is,
dig deep.
Is if you say, hey, man,
Dig deep.
this is about financing. It's like, okay, well, the 1970s feminists, we can't have credit cards. We can't control our bank accounts. We can't control our own financial independence from men. That's what they're fighting for. You want the same thing. Independence from women to control your own finances.
You were talking about promiscuity.
Almost done with the argument, then he can rebut it. Next thing is, when you're talking about promiscuity, sure, sleep with whoever you want, right? It's under your purview because you can do whatever you want with your body. Same exact argument that they were making. They're not the property of men, right? They should have complete sexual liberation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these are the same degenerate structured systems which led us to where we are currently right this second, except you're just providing them for men instead of women. It's like, can't we at least at some level look at this and say, look, just because these crazy women are doing these insane things, we can actually, as men, do something about this prescriptively without adding the degeneracy. Can't we do that?
Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
There's a such thing as, you might take a medication to solve one issue and you get side effects. You're telling me the side effects equals what the men wanted as to solve the problem to heal. That's the reason they took the medication. Now you tell me about all these side effects. A side effect of feminism being able to control their body is to also have finances, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the men. The men didn't intentionally go in there to say, this is for our bodies. What? We went in there to say this is to control our finances. Then as a result of that, there could be some other things that happen as a result.
Yeah, but if the results are the same as feminism,
it's not the same.
What's the
difference? It is not going to be the outcome because at that particular point, the man has controlled his finances. He's outside of the state system.
That's what the feminists argued for themselves.
That's a completely different reason. You can have
Who
the
cares
same
if
outcome.
it's the same fucking outcome.
You can have the same outcome, and it could be for different reasons. All right, you're saying the outcome pretty much says it's a reason. That's not true. You can have two different reasons and have similar outcomes.
So we have the same outcomes for 1970s progressive feminists for men because you intended it to be different.
But you wanted to compare. You just simply wanted to compare it as the same.
It is the same.
It's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges.
It's apples and oranges because you didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, even though that's the same result.
You framed it that way to fit your narrative. That's your narrative.
It's not my narrative. You just agreed that what I said is true.
I didn't agree with anything.
You did. You just said it's the same comparable institution.
This is the outcome. If I choose to do something for different outcomes, it's not the same.
It's just wild.
Just because certain things line up.
It's just
the way you want. And you're cherry picking, by the way, and you're very good at it. You're cherry picking the good things, the bad things, and then you want to reframe traditionalism and call up the traditional church. Well, the traditional church also had the Ku Klux Klan in the 1950s.
No, that was the
Is that what you want to do?
Okay, Protestant churches.
Okay, well, it's the church. And at that particular point, you want to go ahead and cherry pick what's good and what's bad.
By the way, they were Democrats.
A great snapshot.
Those were Democrats.
Exactly. And of course, they were Democrats. And certainly
not
what
Republicans.
The Republicans. Okay, well, now where are we at? There's going to be Democrats in your church? No Democrats.
Not usually.
So
there are some, of course.
Of course there will be. So there are going to be people that have
the
same ideology.
What does the KKK have to do with anything?
You're snapshotting traditional world that lives.
KKK have to do with anything?
You're snapshotting traditional world that literally you can just pinpoint 10 years. Yeah. And if I go back 10 years before, it was 19 years later, it don't exist. Now you're trying to bring it back out of the dead like you're Billy Graham. I know that doesn't exist.
What doesn't exist?
It is not the normal traditional church. You're killing people, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
That accounts. Keep it going. That accounts to, all right, a lot of people killing each other, a lot of divorce, and a lot of fornication.
About 4 to 6% of all wars were religiously based.
How much? 4
to 6%. You can look it up.
All right, I don't care what. That doesn't matter. They kill each other at massive rates. All right, listen. Religion is not the
4 to 6%.
You guys,
sorry guys, not sure what happened
feminism for men.
I didn't say it was. You didn't have to live degeneracy if you're non-religious. That's your world. Again, you always make it fit what you want.
Because it does fit. It is the truth. That's what you guys advocate for.
You're only good if you're religious. That's ridiculous. All right, you only make good decisions because you're religious. That's ridiculous. That's what you hope, and that's not the case because a lot of people that are in your tradition. Hold on for a second.
Like, why do you say only?
Hold on.
When
A lot
I
of
talk about outcomes being
you
better,
just admitted
better.
that there are women that are feminists in your church. Of
course.
Okay, so there's your solution there. You're telling me it's always better.
It is always better.
Snapshot. What you're doing is selling men a fantasy of them,
and you're selling them feminism.
I'm not. Well, we can agree to disagree on that, but
well,
you're selling them a fantasy.
You're just selling them feminism,
and you're selling them a fantasy. All right,
a fantasy that I have data to support.
Matter of fact, most people will be dead by the time you get even 1 inch closer to whatever you're proposing.
Well,
most men will be dead as a doorknob.
Under your proposal, you have assured that black men will be dead. You said so yourself. There's no fixing it. They will be. That's your prescription.
Well, that's the prescription that you heard. What I told black men is to leave that community. The community is not to
Are
be
they
saved.
doomed or not, like you said?
The black men leave the community, they thrive.
Right now.
So that's
what about
no,
right
they're thriving right now under your degeneracy model. Damn stream, but you're telling me
I gave you tons.
No, give me your numbers of your ecclesiastic marriage where your pastor on a little house on the prairie is going to prevent them from getting legal. Give me them numbers
again.
Okay, you're asking me for
how
mine.
many times
do
I have to explain this?
Come on, man.
So again, when you're talking about just because we don't have polling data for the United States specifically, we can definitely look at other nations where there's ecclesiastical marriages and the divorce rates. That's one. You can do it right now.
No.
The second is this.
You keep
even
changing
if
that. That's moving the goalpost.
Even if I grant that just because polling data for that specific thing doesn't exist right this second,
okay,
the polling data for people who are engaged in state marriage is still lower. That makes my argument much more compelling than yours.
That's all fine and dandy when you're comparing 125 people to millions of people.
No, these are millions of people.
What number?
In the state.
What's the number
of
people
what?
that participate?
Of what? Which thing?
I keep asking you this. You never give me the number.
I've already told you 50 times. There's no polling data.
Exactly. You don't have a number.
But I do have numbers.
It's a pie in the sky. It's a
people.
fantasy.
Dude,
you've been selling people a fantasy.
Do you realize that?
I love it though.
Listen. You make my point stronger, not worse.
A fantasy?
If it's the case that people are engaged in state marriage right this second and are part of traditional churches and their divorce rate is lower, it has to logically follow that if they were not engaged in state marriage, the divorce rate would be even lower.
You're talking about getting hit over the head 30% to 50%. Okay, that's great.
It's huge.
Give you that.
That's huge.
I'll give you that. That's the difference between 150,000 people. Yet you're telling me you have a better solution to
it's
mitigate
more than 150,000.
that. Hold on. You're giving me a mitigating better than that 30%.
That's way more than 150,000, dude.
Where's that solution for the better than the 30%? I've been asking for it. You can't tell me how many people that you got under these notorious contracts that don't
I can logically demonstrate it for you. There's no polling data for it. So what?
Get that number. That would be a great
When I
so you can tell the audience. Hold on for a second.
You
can tell the audience how many people that you're going to prevent from busting out this ecclesiastic contract with your little house on the prairie.
Not a contract.
Whatever it is that you're doing. If you could tell your men how many people you have doing it and you prevented them from getting divorced and losing their kids under custody, please tell us.
Yeah, so
otherwise it's a fantasy.
Oh, let's respond again. Do you have the polling data for how many of the black men you've personally helped?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see it.
Hundreds of thousands right now. Hundreds of thousands.
Hey,
everybody in the chat.
Where's the polling
press
data?
One. We're going to do it right now live.
That's
We're gonna do
scientific.
It live. Everybody press one.
That's polling
if you're
data?
A Coach Greg Adams.
That's polling data.
If you follow me for the last 8 years.
You don't have hundreds of thousands of people in your chat, dude. Give me a break.
Press one if you can see it. Look. You see that?
Yeah. Where's your
no, you don't want to look.
Data?
You don't want to look. Look at this.
Where's the polling data?
Coach Gang, represent.
Do you have
you
scientific
see it right
polling data?
That's more than your ecclesiastic contracts.
Oh,
I can guarantee you that.
Okay. Everyone in the Crucible chat who Andrew Wilson has helped, put one in the chat. That's scientific polling data, says Coach whoever.
I know you don't want to hear it. I thought you was going to let it happen. Now all of a sudden you don't like the numbers. Come on, Andrew, man.
That's not polling data.
I thought we were better
That's
than this.
not polling data, doofus.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
You want to call
that's
me
not
a doofus?
polling data.
Were you going to call me a doofus?
Yes, that's doofus shit.
Yo, man, that's crazy because I asked you for a number. And I'm the doofus. You can't even give me a number.
I gave you
your
hard
data. Wait, where's your army at? What's the name of your group? What's the name of your group?
The Crucible chat.
The Crucible Army. Go ahead and pull them up. and tell
tell
them
him
how
real
many
quick.
of them are under your
Hang on.
ecclesiastic contract.
And let's make sure we got this straight. How many people are in his live chat right now?
He's got 2,060.
And see how many people are in mine.
Let's go. Pull it up. They should beat me in your ecclesiastic contract. They should floor us in the ecclesiastic contract.
Oh,
4,300.
That's like not even double.
Just one.
All right, we're both doing well.
Just one, please. Just one, please. And then now that means I win.
Where they at?
That's
Where they
scientific
at?
polling
There's
data.
crickets over there. Okay.
Just ones. Just
There they
one.
go.
All I got to do is
There's the
ones, and that's
crucible over there.
scientific data.
There's a couple of twos in there. I want the ecclesiastic contract marriages.
Oh, no.
That's what we're asking
You
for.
said, who have I helped?
Oh, wait a minute.
That's different.
No, you ask who, for me,
Yeah.
who's followed my prescription.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not
who has the
polling data, dude.
I ask you for the ecclesiastic
God.
contracts, Andrew. This is very simple.
What part of
This
we
is
don't
very-
have the polling data, but I
'Cause you
can
don't have the
logically
numbers.
demonstrate it? Do you
You
not
don't have the
understand?
numbers. You're selling a fantasy.
We do have the numbers.
You're selling a fantasy.
Oh my god, dude, this is
You're
you're
selling
so
a
low
fantasy to
tier.
men. And I think what you need to
It's
do
like
is
talking to a fucking wall.
And I hope that all those cancer sticks that you've
Uh-huh.
been smoking will help your ass live long enough to see how far you led men astray. I would love that for you to survive, and I would bless you by the name of God and the Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints that you survive all them goddamn smokes
You
you've
don't
been
follow
out
the
here.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day
All them
Saints.
smokes you have, so you can come out here and live and see how many men
Jesus
you
Christ
led
of
astray.
Latter-day Saints. You follow Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Somebody does.
You
More
don't.
people than that.
Give me a
More
break.
people than the Crucible.
The
More
LDS
people that you
are not in the LDS church,
hey,
dude.
More people,
Oh,
more
my God.
people than you have under your ecclesiastic contract. I can guarantee you that. All right.
All you have to do is agree to one proposition. Is it the case that you personally think
Not
that
today.
if there is no state contract, you're not win a
Easily.
state contract, your chances of getting divorced are going to decrease? Is that true or false?
If that's true, even if you don't get married, correct. Your chances of getting divorced goes to 0. Oh. And that's the same thing I said. Don't get married, you don't get divorced. The number one cause of divorce is marriage.
Not
Boy,
marriage,
it sounds like
a state
it sounds
contract.
Like, no, the number one cause of divorce is marriage. Hey, Andrew, let's just say this, man. Listen.
I thought they could divorce you even if you weren't married to him 5 minutes ago.
No, you went through a ceremony. You went through a religious ceremony. So at that point, they can. But if I never went through a ceremony, they can.
They can sue you for anything by your logic, whether you
No,
went
no,
through
no,
it or
no,
not.
no. Don't move the goalpost. I said you went through a ceremony. I didn't. All right, those are two different things, sir.
Which part of I don't really again I don't understand if it's the case that you
He's
say
scrambling and scraping for shit right now.
if it's the case that you say
He's
if you're
scrambling and
married-
scraping for shit right now.
If
Look
you're
at
married
him.
by the state,
Look at him scrambling and
yeah,
scraping.
if you're married by the state, if you're married by the state, your chances of marriage or divorce
But if you don't get
increase.
married, your chances of divorce is 0.
Yeah, okay, wait a second, I'm sorry.
Your chances of if you don't
Except-
get married,
unless you're
your
cohabitating,
chances
right?
of divorce is
Unless you're
0.
cohabitating.
Depends on where you live.
Yeah, so then it's not
That's common
zero.
law. Not
so
in
you just
California.
lied. It's not
Not in
zero.
California.
So then it's not zero.
What about if you don't cohabitate?
Yeah, again. So
Again.
now you're moving the goalposts.
No, most of the time. If you read my book, and I bet you can't read. Did you write a book? I'm pretty sure you didn't. I wrote a book.
My
that
wife wrote a
basically
book, and I take all her money though.
Good. Well, that tells me the type of man you are. Holy mackerel! You're pimping your wife out now. What's
To
next?
write- to write
what's
books
next?
that I
What's
profit
next?
from?
If those, how many books that she sold? Now let me get
I'm
back
pimping-
to
I'm
this.
pimping her
Hold on
out
for a
'cause she
second.
wrote a
Hold on for a
book?
second.
What
My
the fuck?
my
What?
prescription for men is
my
no. Hold on for a
prescription
second.
is
No, no,
pick
no,
your
no.
wife out to write a book.
Yeah. Well, I guess YouTube's going well if you're living off your wife's books. All right. What's her name? So we can give her some shine and sell some books.
Oh, her name is Rachel Wilson, the author of Occult Feminism. I guarantee it sold more copies than yours, sir.
All right. We can look it up.
Let's
It's
look it
over
up.
that. Now we can look it up.
No, let's look it
now
up
watch
right
this.
now.
Watch this. All right. Go ahead.
I want to look it up right now. Now I just want to know.
Now, at this point, what have you done? You're living off the backs of your wife? Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Is this traditional marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
Boy, oh, boy. Men have fallen. I'm going to tell you that.
Absolutely.
Men have fallen. It's a disgrace. All right.
Man.
You're living off of what? Is this traditional marriage, by the way?
Yes.
Your wife is in the traditional marriage and you're living off her finances? God damn. All right, boy. The crucible is falling apart at this particular point, bursting open at the seams.
Yes, you got
Gentlemen,
me.
What's your book called?
Free Agent Lifestyle.
You got me, man.
Yeah, I did got you.
I take all. It's true. I take all of her money. It's true.
Well, that's what you said.
I mean, I do.
You said that.
I do.
I mean, I'm not saying something you didn't
all
say.
of it, and I spend it on guns. Every
Traditional
dime.
marriage sounds great, guys. Traditional
How
marriage
does
sounds
that
great.
sound bad? Who would be upset by that? I take all of my wife's money and spend it on guns. He says traditional marriage sounds great,
That's
guys.
traditional marriage. That falls under traditional marriage?
Sure.
Oh, boy.
What's untraditional
All
about
right,
it?
That's a great traditional marriage
It
model.
sounds like great
All right.
traditional marriage to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't find the numbers, honestly.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
This all happens. Shit happens. But, it's a bestseller, trust me. You should read it.
So's hers.
Yeah.
It's just sold
But
more.
what have you
It's
done?
just sold more.
But what have you done?
I take her money.
Zero. Exactly. Boy, I mean, you hear this?
Yeah.
This is the traditional patriarchy masculinity here, in live and in living color. But you can follow him. You can follow me.
I mean, your book is ranked higher on the charts and it has more ratings.
Oops.
Can't find the sales numbers on either.
The sales numbers are what matters.
Oh. Oh.
Let's see the numbers.
Oh.
Numbers?
Uh-oh.
Numbers?
Uh-oh.
Numbers?
Oops.
Numbers?
I'm higher ranked. More people have.
Let's see the numbers.
Come on, man. I don't know. I don't keep the data. I don't know what
You
happened.
don't know how many books you've sold?
Millions.
Still millions of books. Give me a fucking break with this shit.
How many books you sold?
You haven't
Zero.
sold millions
You
of
sold
books.
zero
You're
goddamn
just
books.
lying and coping, dude.
You listen. I'm higher ranked.
Yeah, you sold
people-
millions of
Hey, but
books.
look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie, Mr. Numbers guy. I got
Okay,
higher
where's
ranked.
the numbers?
Higher ranked. More people
I wanna
have.
know how many you've
look at
sold.
More people have rated the book.
Yeah, and
Free
guess-
agent lifestyle
you
for
can-
life.
And guess what? You can definitely brigade
For
your own Amazon
life.
shit.
You challenged me.
Show me
You're
the
the one
numbers.
challenged me,
Where's
sir.
the numbers?
You sold zero goddamn
Numbers
books.
are
Man, what? You saw the numbers?
no,
He
I
pulled
didn't.
the numbers.
I asked you for the sales numbers. How many
He
have you
pulled the
sold?
numbers. Free agent lifestyle for life. Hey, everybody go out buy the free agent lifestyle.
Yeah, free
Hold
agent never. He doesn't
No,
know how
no,
many
no.
you sold.
I'm higher ranked, man.
So
You
what?
seen it. I got more people. Look,
That doesn't
hey,
mean
Shawn,
shit.
Shawn Michael, hey, you see that? I'm higher ranked.
Uh-huh.
I'd imagine with the ranking algorithm, sales does play a factor.
Come on, man. We already know that. But it is what it is.
What are
But
the
I don't.
numbers?
I don't know my numbers. My probably
I
better
know.
than hers, but I know it's better than yours.
That's
Right?
true. I've never
You
written a
got
book.
zero.
I just take the.
I mean, you
I just
come-
take the author's
You come
money.
up with obvious solutions to scenarios that
And you have
anybody
none.
can.
You just want
Anybody can come up
feminism.
with. I don't have a solution. Free agent lifestyle is a solution.
That's not a solution to anything.
It's not. It sure
it's
is.
just degeneracy.
It's a solution that you don't like.
It's just go fuck
just a-
chicks.
no, that's what you think. All right.
Uh-huh.
It's a solution that you didn't.
How's it
even
going to
read the
help?
book.
How's it going to
How
help
did
with
you even-
abortion? How's it going to help with anything?
Well, that's what de-evolution is for. Read my book,
De-evolution?
de-evolution. Go ahead and pull that up. All right. I
How
have a
does
second book,
de-evolution help?
de-evolution. Go ahead and look.
How?
How about you read the book and then come back?
Just
You
tell
didn't do
me.
your research.
How does de-evolution help
I
with
figured you
abortion?
were a better debater than this.
Can you
and be
answer
more
the question?
prepared. No, be more prepared next time because I don't have time.
You
for
can't
this,
answer
man.
any
Listen,
questions.
But I'm going to sell some books.
Just no
Free
questions
Agent Lifestyle
answered?
and de-evolution. The link is in the description box below. All right. I did my work. I don't have to explain it. I wrote a book. Your job is to do the work. All right. And that's what we teach men to do. It's not about degeneracy. We teach men to do the work and not come up with pie in the sky
be
fantasies
feminist?
that don't work.
be
All right.
feminist?
The Captain Obvious.
do you know
can-
it doesn't work?
Your solutions are very obvious. Control propaganda. All right. Jesus Christ, man. Look, anybody can.
Here's
come
your
up with that.
solution. Do whatever you want. Fuck
The
whoever.
free agent lifestyle. Yeah,
Fuck
baby.
whoever. Just fuck whoever. It's fine. We're
Well-
not feminists, those guys, even though we have all feminist propositions.
I bet you your wife's body count's higher than yours.
Yeah, I bet your
I
wife's
bet
body
your
count
wife-
was higher than yours,
No,
too.
no, I'm not married. I'm not married. And your wife, you living off of
Anymore.
her. I bet you her body count higher than yours.
You think so?
I know so.
Oh,
I
okay.
know
Just
so.
like you know your
And
numbers?
She's a traditional
Just
conservative.
like you know
I
your
know she'd
numbers
have got
are
ran.
higher?
I know she'd have got ran through more times in the
Gotcha.
Holland Tunnel.
So that's it. It's just now ad
Now we
hominem
just
about
ad
my
hominems.
wife.
Is that what we want to do?
That's where you went.
No, you
Did
brought
I
her
say a
up.
word
I didn't
about
bring up your wife.
Did I say a
I didn't
word
bring up your
about
wife.
your wife?
I don't got one.
Yeah, if you did, do you think I would have?
You brought her up.
I brought my. Did I attack her?
I didn't attack her.
You just said she had a high body count. You lying sack of shit. Show me the proof.
I don't have any proof.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
she's
just
a
making
tradition-
shit up.
Traditional conservative
You
women.
lost the
Hey,
debate,
listen,
so you went
I didn't
ad
lose the
hom.
debate.
I don't even
You've been
care
losing
at
the debate
this
for a
point.
long time.
Your wife has a high body count.
Yo, I just
Yeah,
got to
she
say, this
does.
guy's a fucking
That's the
piece of
number.
shit.
Proof?
Like one of the worst, most bad
conservative
faith,
women
and most
have higher body
disingenuous
count than
debaters
men.
I've
Not an
ever
ad
fucking
con, dude.
seen on the
You
show.
know what you're talking about.
Absolutely
She's not a trad con
ridiculous.
and you married her.
I'm not a
She
trad
feminist?
con. You didn't
Well,
do
what
your
are you?
homework.
What are you?
I'm a Christian ethicist.
A Christian ethicist.
Yes.
All right. Very good. All right. And
Very
you
good.
still don't know the numbers, how many people follow you.
Follow what?
Follow your prescription, your master solution. No
I-
numbers.
I literally have
But you're
given
asking
you
me
number
about numbers
after
and we pulled the
number
numbers.
after number
Oh,
of
my goodness.
the fact that the
How
traditional
many
churches'
men-
divorces are lower.
We got that. But how many men follow your
We don't know the
prescription?
polling
You
data.
don't know.
We don't need to.
But-
we know that even if they're with the state, it's still lower.
Coach gang, one in the chat. All right, Coach Gang.
What fucking point does he think he's proving here? Over and over again, he does this. Uses terms wrong, makes shit up, lies, thinks that he this is
all right, guys,
worse than
check him
equivocation.
That was a fun debate. We'll let ChatGPT decide who won this thing.
Let ChatGPT decide.
In the video. See you guys next time.
I bet those glasses make you see better.